Hello, my friends. Jacob is here once again. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's Tuesday. I'm very excited about today's show. And I want to thank each and every one of you for being there with me, for subscribing, for sharing, for liking, for commenting. If you don't usually do it, I ask you, if you've seen a video or two and you like it, please do. Because listen, that's the only way to get this stuff out there. And it also helps when those AI algorithms that love to censor topics like this, it makes it harder for these programs to keep videos like this buried. And these videos are important. We need to be plugged in. We need to know what is going on. We need to kind of have our eyes open to what the powers that be, the sinister powers that be, are doing right in front of our face, while we kind of just go about our daily lives thinking everything is just rosy. Well, I'm telling you, there is more to understand. You ever hear predictive programming? I've talked about it before. Very, very simple thing. You get basically inundated with a bunch of ideas that seem like they're way out there, futuristic, like Minority Report was. Pre-crime, right? That'll never happen. You get a bunch of stuff that kind of leads up to that and kind of drips through the public and then gets you used to it. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's here. Well, you've known about it for how long? So why would you be freaked out about it? Well, or AI, same thing, artificial intelligence. Nothing to worry about, right? We've only seen 1 million movies about Terminators coming over and taking over the world, Skynet going live. Well, that's happening right now. That was like just the show that I just did just a couple of days ago, and a week before that, and a year before that. Well, but nobody's really in an uproar about it, right? Nobody's really upset about it. Well, here's a new one, because this is the next phase, right? It's not enough to have like a gabillion cameras, security cameras everywhere, so that every time that we don't stop for a full 3 seconds at that light and we turn right, but we do it for 2 seconds, we get that $85 ticket where you get that crystal clear picture of your license plate from a camera that's like way back there that you don't even know was there. Then you got to go to court on your day off and say, hey man, I did stop, and they said you didn't stop for the full 3 seconds. So they can skim more money from you. The world we're living in, right? It's like a prison if you think that that's all there is to it. We're all being surveilled all the time. Something like 3.5 billion phones that have the capability of not only recording us, but spying on us and tracking us. And they're all in circulation right now. And so the new shows that are coming out, I believe it's on Fox and like CBS, and I'm sure there's going to be another one on ABC. Or these new shows are telling a tale that I think we all should be well aware of. The first one is called Wisdom of the Crowd. That's right. Jeremy Piven from Entourage fame, he is the producer of this really awesome show where it basically turns everybody against their brother and their sister and their neighbor and their father and their mother and their friend and their coworker. Basically turns everybody into a crime fighter and then sells it as they're being a part of something meaningful, as opposed to they're being brainwashed to be excited about spying on private citizens that should be found innocent until proven guilty. But that's been thrown out, right? That's the baby that's been thrown out with the bathwater. We're not really innocent anymore. Our rights are really no longer there. And why do we allow it? Because we've been programmed to allow it. So the next big thing that's coming down the pipe, crowdsourced crime fighting. And today we're talking about it. So I hope that you are buckle up, people. So basically the premise of the show is to crowdsource crime fighting, basically making you and you and you and you and all of you that are watching and me crime fighters, crime solvers. It's already being done in many police districts around. You've probably seen Facebook things. They're loading pictures up to Facebook and they're telling people go look for them and give us some information on that, and it's working great.
Well, imagine detectives actually solving crimes without ever leaving the police station. 2 local police departments are using the power of social media to catch the bad guys on a regular basis.
With the click of a button, thousands of crime fighters share pictures and videos of suspects crowdsourcing to catch criminals. Social media used to catch criminals.
So it's a multiplication, a network, a spider web of how fast the social media can spread.
But there's a new thing coming out. There's a new thing coming out called crime-sourced crime fighting, right? And that's going to be the big push. That's coming down the line. And how do I know this? Because you have these 2 shows coming out, Wisdom of the Crowd and also APB. Now, the first one, Wisdom of the Crowd, just so you know, it's kind of an interesting concept. It's really, actually kind of a really cool concept if you think about where the term comes from. You ever go to one of those fairs and you see those big bar of jelly beans and there's like a lot of them and you guess the number and you write it down, you hand it in, and whoever guesses the closest amount of jelly beans wins? Well, what they have found is that when you take all of the people, say 300 people, put in their answer, right, on how many jelly beans there were, and you divide their answers all together by the number of people that put their answers in, it's like accurate within like a bean or 2. This happened a long time ago with a prize-winning steer, at a fair where you had to guess the weight. And what they found was you put them all together, you divide it by the amount of people that guessed, and they were accurate within half a pound. So every single person is a spy for Big Brother, right? We're gonna have our little apps. Oh, that's right, yeah, there actually were apps. Apple just recently had to delete an app called Vigilante because people were using it to stop crime on their own. But that's kind of the push, right? Lately, the media is kind of showing us that, you need to self-police people. Now, I know a lot of people love Trump, and I know a lot of people, hate Trump. But I'll tell you, it doesn't matter if you love Trump or you hate Trump. The fact of the matter is, during this campaign and what's going on now, with all of these events that you saw people standing up for what they believed in and beating down the people that they disagreed with. So not only is Wisdom of the Crowd one of these shows that does this, which features all sorts of really crazy tech, because that there's facial recognition is the big thing. That we're being spied on constantly. Something like if you live in an urban area, you're recorded up to 50 times a day. But APB, just like Wisdom of the Crowd, it's telling us a little bit of a different story. It's actually kind of pushing towards privatization of the police. Right? It's always about big business coming in and taking over. It's all about corporations. It's never really been, government, right? It's all kind of a farce, right? The election process and everything else. I'd like to personally believe in it, but how many of us really believe in it? How many of us really believe that we have a voice? We don't. We kind of sit still and we kind of keep our mouths shut. The most I do is I come and I do videos like this, and I try to express to people, get in touch with your senators or your congressmen and be vocal about things, and I try to educate people, but I'm not going down and protesting. I got children to raise and I got a family, and I don't want to be locked up. I don't want to be some kind of picture that's sent out over some kind of social media crime-solving app where they say, find this guy because he doesn't believe in it and shut him down. Because that's where this could go. According to a Nielsen study done by NICE, 95% of people today, they want to be involved. They're happy to record things and to tattle on people and to do whatever the government tells them to do. 95% of the people that were polled. And why wouldn't they? Because we've been force-fed this line, terrorism, crime, drugs. There is no more privacy, people. None. We're all under surveillance. And now it seems like the next step is just basically turning everybody into a bunch of mindless drones who throw out the concept of innocent until proven guilty because that's the party line that is being towed. Just do what you're told. Don't ask questions. Don't think. It's national security. Shh. Just do what you're told. Just don't think. Just like Jeremy Piven said in the in that first look of Wisdom of the Crowd. He said, "Look, we gave up our privacy so that we could watch funny cat videos on our phones."
Do you really think all this is going to work?
I know it'll work.
There's a reason why cops solve crimes. We have this thing called privacy.
We gave that up a long time ago so we can watch cat videos on our phone.
But the truth is, we didn't give up our privacy. Our privacy was stolen. We haven't given up our rights. I don't think any one of you has said, "I don't want my rights anymore. I want you, the government, to have the ability to spy on me in my home. I want all my neighbors to be keeping an eye on me to make sure that I don't get out of line." I don't think that any of us have done that. We didn't say we wanted that, to watch cat videos on our phone, did we? But that's really what's happened. Entertainment. We have been programmed. Predictive programming. So when you see these programs, you know that you can predict that this is what's coming down the line next. Now, if you don't think that we're being manipulated by the media, I'll remind you of a video I did a while ago on Obama's Brain Initiative, where you have these psychotherapist think tanks, these people, these social behavioral science engineers who get together and they basically come up with ways to get all of us to go along with what they want. The media, the internet, everything that you watch, anything that entertains you, okay? There's a reason that the TV's flicker rate gets you into a trance. There's a reason that when you walk by the TV and you got a little kid there, that their mouths gape open. It's about brainwashing people. I've done shows on this as well. Go back and check those out if you haven't seen them. We're all being manipulated. And the only way out is if that light is turned on and we understand that there's a game that's being played. And we say, you know what? I'm going to unplug. I'm going to be in the world, but not of it. I talk about that a lot. And these shows, Wisdom of the Crowd, APB, they're programming us to want to spy on our friends. They're programming us to be excited, just like they said in the video. Everybody wants to be a part of something meaningful. And we're all in the video. Like hundreds of guys walking around with their cameras, holding their cameras up. It's like something out of Twilight Zone, but that's our future. Protested when the Patriot Act came into being. No, not many. How many of us stood up and demanded justice when we heard what Snowden had to say? Not many, because we were conditioned. How many of us just got outraged and threw our smart TVs back at the stores and said we want our money back because now we found out that you could spy on us through them? No one, because we were brainwashed and conditioned to just to simply accept it all as it is.
What's fascinating about technology is all of this exists today. And so there's nothing fictional about it. It's real. Let me
talk a little bit about some of the technology that's in these shows that really should kind of freak you out. The police just basically take over the use of somebody's phone who's in a nearby vicinity and says, "Hey, how you doing? I'm just going to use your phone for a sec. Can you get a little closer to these terrorists? I'd like to eavesdrop in." And what do? She mindlessly goes over, puts herself in danger, and they can hear what's being said. And then, they catch them. And everybody's celebrating and laughing and having a great time. Meanwhile, this young girl just walking her dog had her phone taken over, and then was put in a precarious situation where she could have lost her life. And for what? Because she was told. And why didn't she question? Because they don't want us to question, right? It's not enough that there's cameras everywhere. It's not enough that facial recognition is a thing now. It's not enough that we walk around with these tracking devices on us all the time. Soon we're going to be chipped. That's the next thing. What do you think? Now you got to put the chip into the card reader, right? I mean, we're being programmed to accept that next. We're going to be so dependent on this system. And that's what they want. They want us dependent on the system. That the system basically becomes our God and we basically start to worship it. And that's really what Big Brother was all about. It's all about worshiping, right? You gotta worship the powers that be, and you gotta listen. You gotta be a part of it. And you can't be a betrayer or a traitor. And you gotta tell on your brother and your sister and your mother and your father and your daughter and your son if they say anything that is against what the party line is telling them to say. There's coming a time where even in your own family, because of all of this predictive programming and all of this manipulation, that we are going to most likely turn on those that we are supposed to love because we're told to. Because we're told to. I don't know about you, I don't want to be a spy. I don't want to be driving down the street all of a sudden and then have my car stop because someone somewhere said that I was a criminal and they disabled my vehicle, which, by the way, is happening now. Every single car is being outfitted with a back door in. I don't know about you, but I, for one, do not want to be a mindless drone. I want to be a light in the world, and I want to shine bright, and I want to inspire people. I want to encourage each and every one of you to do the same. You know, we're all more than we know. You are more than what the TV tells you to do. You don't have to listen to what the TV tells you to be. You don't have to buy that new car. You don't have to buy that new outfit. You don't have to buy that new toy. Yeah, I love YouTube. You know, I love it because I can come on here and I can reach people, you know, and I can say whatever I want to say. And that's why it's so important for people to subscribe and to share. And because sometimes I say things and, you know, you find that, you know, these things are censored or blocked or the video's taken off because they deem it not appropriate for people like yourself. But what they don't deem inappropriate are just the hundreds of channels that are all about consumption. You know, the kids shows where you see the kid unboxing on a regular basis and brainwashing every child. So it's like we've unwillingly, we've been brainwashed so much that even the people on YouTube now, right? Even we're brainwashed to brainwash people. I don't want to be one of those people. And I don't want to ever be called some kind of sellout. I just want to let you know something. I am just some guy, normal job, love my family, love my life, been through a lot of hard times. I am where I am today because of my faith. I think that each and every one of you need to know that life needs to be more than profit, right? Life needs to be more than consumption. We need to open our eyes, people. We need to get involved and we need to be a part of the change that I believe can come. There's going to come a time when it's going to get a little too claustrophobic. And when you have your neighbors and everything else watching you and spying on you because you're watching a video by someone like me, that time may not be too far off. We don't need to be manipulated. We don't need to be told what to consume. We don't need to be spying on our friends and our loved ones. But what we need to do, and this is what I wish that they would talk about more on TV, is love. Love and forgive. And I'd like to see hope being offered on a regular basis instead of fear. I'd like to see stories of people that have gone through horrible things and then them sit here and tell you why it all worked together for their good, like in my life. Every single horrible, terrible thing that's happened, and I've been through a lot, man. Every single bit got me here talking to you right now. Would I change any of it? No, not a chance. Would you? Where we are now is not where we're going to be. I said this in the last video. There are cameras everywhere. Let's be the star of the show, right? But let's not be telling on people. And let's be aware that the media likes to program us and likes to get us comfortable with things that we shouldn't be comfortable with. So when this stuff comes out, right? Because it's already happening in police departments everywhere. They're already using social media. There's already a lot of news broadcasts about how they're using crowdsourced crime fighting. But when this stuff makes mainstream, I want each and every one of you to say, I don't want that. because I believe a person is innocent until proven guilty. In any event, listen, I love each and every one of you. I hope that you have the best day ever. I hope you do subscribe and you share this around. And I hope you are excited for my next show, because that was really the one that I was going to share today. But I just thought I had to get this out because I thought that it was very topical and it was very important. And I love each and every one of you, and I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.